video and the next one that I do are going to be on autism. We're going to step away from politics and culture as a general thing, and we're going to talk about culture, particularly with regard to autism, for the next couple of days. Today we're going to talk about this sort of interesting little thing that's grown up around the autism community with people who know autistic folks, and I assume, and some of them who are parents to them and so forth, who don't understand exactly certain things that are going on. The subject of the video today is no interaction required. And that's what we're going to talk about on today's Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. I'm Kurt. Today is Sunday, the 6th of June of 2021. Thank you to everyone who's here on Rumble, on the podcast, on YouTube, or wherever else you happen to be joining me from. Again, the subject today will be no interaction required. And I'm going to go ahead and go through my notes real quick, as I have a habit of doing, so that you'll get an idea what I'm actually talking about. For the most part, I don't involve myself in groups. Even though my son is level 2 or moderately autistic, that tends to include autism groups, i.e. I don't tend to involve myself with them. That is to say, I don't tend to involve myself with them. Some time back, I got involved in the platform minds.com, which is a sort of a similar platform to it's almost a hybrid between Facebook and Twitter, right? And they take them, most of the people there take them either are very silly or take themselves very seriously, and sometimes they're a little bit out there in some of the things they say, which I suppose is true for just about any platform, particularly if you allow for everything to happen there. As a result, I got invited to an autism group, and that was as a result, I should say, of I said I did one video post on autism. Oh yeah, there it is. I missed a couple of things there, so you're going to have to forgive me. I'm going to step back just a little bit. While there, I started doing my daily summation videos. So while I was on minds.com, I started to do my daily summation videos. I did one on autism and posted it on Minds, and as a result, I was invited to an autism group on that platform. I want to give them a shout out. Their name is Let's Talk Autism. If you're dealing with autism either in the first person or from the outside, they seem to be a good place to go. And I'm not, obviously, anywhere you go there's going to be good stuff and there's going to be bad stuff. I find that the preponderance of stuff on the Let's Talk Autism group is good. Periodically you'll have trolls there, just like you will everywhere. Periodically you'll have people who maybe haven't really thought out their positions quite as well as they should have. And sometimes you'll find people who don't really understand things as well as they ought to. I won't tell you what the group owner calls them, but she likes to post memes and articles with which she disagrees for the sake of argument. To use Dan Bongino's euphemism, they are hit posts except you add an S to the front. That's typically how they're referred to. This video, is the result of one such piece. I want to talk about the idea that autistic folks don't desire social interaction. That's what I want to talk about today. And the first thing that I want to tell you is those in the autism community with whom I have interacted, and those who are autistic specifically, if they could tell you that that's straight up not true for most of them, they would. Those who can will, right? Those who can't would if they could. It's not that they don't desire interaction. The reality is they desire interaction, but they're not willing to pay the price that's required to get the interaction on the, looking at the way other people are willing to give it. So my son will go places. My son is moderately autistic, as I've said. He's level 2 autistic. And he will go places, and people will try to strike up conversations with him. And for the most part, they'll fail. I'll just tell you flat out. When he's in a talkative mood, he'll talk, and they'll feel like, in their view, rightly so, he's coming out of left field in what he says. Hey, I'm Joey. What's your name? I'm Garrett, and I'm the mayor. and I'm a man of science. I'm Garrett Morgan. I'm the mayor. I'm a man of science. His name isn't Garrett Morgan, but that's beside the point. I made people in a laboratory. This is his imagination, him sort of playing on a particular theme. They hear this, and if it doesn't freak them out, they just kind of go, okay, and they leave it alone. They don't know what to say to that because they don't understand how his mind works. They don't get how his mind works. And I don't blame him. I'm not sitting here assessing blame. That's not what's going on. What I'm saying is, does that mean he doesn't desire interaction? Is he trying to be weird in order to weird them out? No, that's not what's happening at all. What's happening is the things that Garrett is interested in, he talks about. The things that he's not interested in, he doesn't talk about. Oh, is that a Joker toy you've got there? He doesn't talk about that. He knows it's the Joker, but he doesn't talk about the fact that that's what that toy is. That's my toy. That's all you need to know in his little world. Okay? The point is, he desires interaction, but besides everything else, the way he wants to interact is not the same other people do. Oh, let's play tag. Let's play hide and seek. No, not Garrett's thing. I'm not saying he'll never do it. Sometimes, in particular, if he's really craving interaction, he will try to do that. He has not figured out certain things about life, and until he does, there are certain things that are going to be hard for him. Itch today. So, for example, he hasn't figured out that if you want to catch somebody, A, you have to be doggedly persistent, and B, you have to be a little bit deceptive at times. None of that works in his brain. The idea of deceiving people or people deceiving him, faking him out, feigning left or right or whatever, that's not a thing for him. So he can't do that. And they, of course, think they've won this great victory because they're kids, right? And that's how kids think. So they think they've won this great victory, and what they don't realize is they've cemented a dislike of that sort of activity, particularly where they're concerned, but in general, in his mind, that will probably never go away. It'll probably never go away. That's probably not going to happen. The point of all of this is the idea that my son doesn't desire or require interaction is a ridiculous idea. And as his dad, I can tell you that one of the things that I learned early on is even when he didn't seem to want interaction, he got it. He got it. I was doggedly persistent in interacting with him because I felt like that I wanted him to know, look, I'm not just doing this because I have to, I'm doing it because I want to. And this is the thing a lot of people forget, is when you have friends, there are times when they want to do things you just don't want to do. Well, with autistic people, that's, for some of them at least, I can't say for all of them, I don't know that this is true for all of them, but for some of them at least, that's most of the time, okay? My son, he wants to interact with people, but he wants to do it on his terms. You say, well, yeah, that's pretty much true for all kids, and they come to a place where they don't want to interact. Actually, most kids that I've met who were not autistic would interact with people who they couldn't have a good interaction with. They would interact with my son. Many of them will interact with my son, even though he whaps them or whatever, they'll interact with him and then complain because he whapped them. And I'm like, well, get away from him then if that's a problem for you. But in his case, the point is, he desires interaction. He literally craves interaction. He wants to interact with you. But the problem is the way that other people want to do business doesn't work with him. And so it looks like he's pulling away and doesn't want that interaction. Well, in reality, he wants it. He just doesn't know how to get them to do what he wants them to do. And maybe that's fine, right? And in the long range, you know, maybe that'll turn out to be just great. But the thing is, the idea that autistic kids don't require or desire interaction is all but a myth. It's absolute fallacy, okay? No, they do. They want it. All right, I am out of time, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Hope you've enjoyed this video today. This is the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I am your host. I'm Kurt. Today is Sunday the 6th of June of 2021. That means tomorrow will be Monday the 7th of June of 2021, and that's when I start my day gig again. Thank you for everybody who's been here on Rumble, on the podcast, on YouTube. And the subject of today's video has been no interaction required. And again, that was on the subject of autism. And we're going to talk tomorrow on another subject, autism subject, and it is Blake Doesn't Talk. And I'm going to kind of take a two-pronged approach with this to show some interesting things that you may not have considered where autism is concerned. I don't know what I'm doing the next, on Tuesday, but I have a feeling we'll be back to sort of more general cultural things. So if you find that the autism stuff is wearing a little thin on you, keep in mind that I am probably going to come back to regular, almost more politically motivated stuff in the course of time here, probably within, I'm pretty sure the one after Blake Doesn't Talk, which, as I say, is an autism video. I'm pretty sure that the one after that will be a more standard culture type video. Hope you're having a good day today. Hope everything's going well for you on this beginning of the week according to what we Christians believe. Tomorrow for most of us is the beginning of the work week. Hope you're getting ready to gear up for a productive and fun work week. I know that sometimes is not the case, and I don't know much you can do about that. But in any case, hope that things are going generally well for you, and hopefully we'll see you again on tomorrow's Daily Summation. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video is recorded on Sunday, the 6th of June of 2021. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, or maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That's @kpschubert. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that. And you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S, .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.